Happy day and welcome to this live Q&A session all about ebooks. I'm Yang Pratt, the chief dreamer at Our Young Creators and the creator of the In a Weekend series. And today I am joined by the amazing Miss Kim White, and she is a master collaborator, and she has done so many things in the business world and has been in business as an entrepreneur for so many years, and it's always fun to learn from her wealth of information and her knowledge. And she is the founder of My Sexy Business, where she helps people like you and me create sexy businesses for sexy lives. Kim, welcome. I'm so excited to dive into this Q&A with you today.
I'm excited too. It's good to be here and it's good to be with everybody.
Absolutely. And in case you missed it last week, Kim and I hosted a free workshop diving into ebooks, really asking the question, are ebooks dead? And we were able to really kind of dispel a lot of myths, because there's a lot of myths out there on planet internet about ebooks. And since we hosted the workshop, we've gotten a ton of questions from people from all walks of life all over the world about ebooks and the possibility of creating one themselves. Oh, Milena is here. Hello, hello. Christy's here. Hello, ladies. If you have questions about ebooks, drop them in the comments below so we can make sure that we get your questions answered, because again, we've got many that we can ask. We want to make sure that if you're here live, we're doing you a service by answering your questions that you may have.
Yes.
And now, Kim, I'm going to start with one of the questions we get all the time. And people come to us and say, well, I know what a book is. What the heck is an ebook?
An ebook is a really sexy thing, especially now in such a technology age, because it's a digital form of a book. It's a digital thing that instead of having to take 10 novels with me on the plane, I now can take, an ebook reader or simply my phone or tablet on the plane and have access to lots of information, lots of books. That's just one tiny, tiny part of like the ebook world. But that is a great example of a convenience. The technology age has given us the convenience of not carrying around 500 pounds of books because we can get them in digital form.
Absolutely. And I love ebooks. And when I travel, I usually travel with a Kindle and my phone. So I have two devices that I can use to access a whole world of books that I have saved on there. And I think that's the coolest thing about ebooks, is that they're so portable. And literally everyone who has access to the internet can read an ebook. And that's a really powerful thing for anyone out there who's interested in creating a book, because you don't just get to offer the ebook to the people who live nearby.
That's right.
People can live across the world and still hear about your adventures and the lessons that you've learned from your own experiences. So Christy asks, who can write an ebook? This is a great question.
I think that anyone who's willing to do a little bit of work, not a lot of work anymore, because like Yong has simplified that for all of us, but anyone who has a story to share, has a message, has something they can teach, something they know they want to share. I mean, there's so many options of, how to, that anyone can come with something. I mean, even kids are writing ebooks. Grandpas and grandmas are writing ebooks. It's not even an age specific thing to do. It's all ages, boys or girls. We can all do it.
And Kim, I think this would be a good time to kind of share our backstories, because we both have written ebooks. However, we came from two very different places when we wrote those ebooks. So for me, I wrote my first ebook after getting my master's degree. And coming from the world of academia, I had a ton of self-doubt about publishing an ebook because in the world of academia, when you publish an article, it has to be reviewed and go through so many different hoops to get that final yes that I kind of was holding back, thinking I was waiting for permission from somebody else. When finally I just got over myself and said, you know what? I'm just going to do it. And if no one reads it, it's okay, because I just needed to share what I had learned through graduate school and through my experiences as a mom and as a performing arts studio owner, and the impact that what was in the book had had on the lives of our students.
Well, it's kind of funny because I'm at the opposite end of that spectrum. I have no degrees or certifications. I have no one to give me permission to do what I felt like I needed to do. And it all started with, I kept getting the same questions and I didn't have time to answer them all in the way that people wanted me to. So I couldn't have an hour conversation with 500 people. And I wanted to be able to share with them what they were asking, but I simply physically could not. And so my first experience with the ebook was pretty traumatic, I will say, but it came from needing to answer questions that were repetitive. It was, something about my life. There's ones that, that are stories of things I've come through and how that has impacted my life and how I got over things, or how, those are the kind of things that I have found that people want to know over and over. And it's a very freeing thing, because once you get that down and someone asks you those questions, you don't have to be rude and walk away from them. You can say, oh, let me send you this. This will answer that.
And that's such a good point. And I'm going to pause right here and just have everyone do something for me. So Kim just said she wrote her first ebook because people were asking her questions. I want you just to stop for a minute and think about the questions people ask of you. Whether you're watching live or you're watching on the replay, we can guarantee that people are already asking questions of you, and we usually dismiss those questions as, everyone knows that. Why would I write that in an ebook? And that is absolutely not the case. So I want you to think of 2 or 3, or maybe you have 10 questions, and I want you to write them down someplace, whether that's with a pen on your hand, or if you have your phone nearby or a piece of paper, just jot some things down, because really once you start thinking about the many possibilities you have, you start to realize that everything that's inside of you, other people might want to know about too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great exercise for everyone. I do see that there are some more questions, but I can't see the questions.
So Milena asks, how much does it cost to publish an ebook?
I think this is a great question, because there is such a huge answer for this. It can go all the way from 0, that's right, 0, all the way to 25,000 plus per book. So, that's a lot of range. And that's one of the reasons that we're doing the workshop and talking about if ebooks are dead, or a live that we did last week. If anyone's listening and they haven't been on the workshop, we'd be happy to send you the link for it. It's free, so that you can kind of get some of those answers, because we do have some stats in there that you might be interested in.
And I'm going to pop that link right above us so people can go get access. The workshop is absolutely free. Kim and I just get so many questions about ebooks, and we wanted to put something together to really, again, dispel, the myths that are out there about ebooks, and really demonstrate that there's a lot of different ways that you can create your ebooks, and all those different ways will cost a different amount depending on whether you have more time or you have more money, right? That's always kind of the question. So yeah, you can just go to bit.ly/ebook replay, and all you have to do is register right there, and then you're going to get instant access to watch that workshop. And at the end, we had some great questions as well about ebooks, and we also introduced and opened the doors to something very special. Kim, do you want to tell them what we opened the doors to on the workshop?
I would love to. It's our way of helping people get their ebooks out there in a quick, easy way and not near as painful as doing it by trial and error. So it is very sexy. There are rewards at the end that Yong has graciously put on the workshop. So that's pretty amazing to me, is you come to the workshop for free and we give you prizes. So that you can't lose on that one. And I don't know what happened, but the questions finally popped up for me on my side. And Melena, you're so sweet, and she is so beautiful. She says, thanks for answering her question. So that is what we want to do, is we want to get these questions answered. I still can't see all of them, so please help me with that, Yong. But
absolutely. And Christy asks, what if I get stuck creating my ebook? And this is a question that we probably get, more than most of the others, because most of us get to a place where we're excited to do something, and all of a sudden there is this wall, and it seems totally insurmountable. So Kim, can you maybe let everyone know what happens? Like, what do you do if you get stuck?
Well, I'm going to tell you a terrible story. How's that? If you go to talk to someone about dreams, where would you think the number one place for dreams would be? Everyone thinks, so, you go to a bunch of kids, they can tell you their dreams, or a bunch of, middle-aged people, they can tell you their dreams. But I'm going to tell you, the biggest place you will find dreams is in the cemetery. That never happened. And I think an ebook is the same way. Most ebooks, most books never get written because people try to do it alone. They try to be out on their own, trial and error, and then they talk about it for years. They're going to get to that. They're going to write that book. I have a friend who desperately needs to tell his amazing story, and to date, he's been saying it for, 20 years. And sadly, he still has not told his story that would change so many lives because of fears, or because of being stuck, because of not knowing the process, because of so many things. So if you're out there and you feel like getting stuck may be a problem, please continue on your path with writing an ebook. Please continue on your path of surrounding yourself with the right people who will push you sometimes. I'm a pretty pushy princess sometimes, but who will help you get past those places of getting stuck, because getting stuck is not sexy for anyone. Getting stuck in a rut is pretty sad, because we all do it. We all get stuck in life. We get stuck in business. We get stuck in our own selves. And the majority of the time, we can actually remedy that by reaching out to someone else. So I encourage you to reach out to someone and go through the journey together, instead of trying to do something alone and letting it die and not actually accomplishing it.
Absolutely. And the idea of the visual of the cemetery and the number of dreams that have died with the people who reside there, that's really a graphic kind of image to think about. So again, really think about something that you want to do. And, we hear from lots of people that an ebook or a book is, number 5 on their life goals, not even just like in 1 year, but like their life. They want to write a book. So we definitely don't want anyone taking their books to the grave with them. And that's really why we were compelled to put together this class called eBook in a Weekend. Because, if you wait too long to do something, there are more and more reasons that compile over time that prevent us from getting there. We know, and we've seen our students do this, where they've been able to come in, go through this exact process, and by the end of the weekend, feel so proud to know that they, in their dream of writing a book, has actually come to fruition. And that's a really, really huge deal. And I just want to encourage you again. I know that if you've ever thought about writing a book, what are some of the reasons you might want to write a book? Who do you want to write a book for? These are some of the questions we ask our students that come into our class. And without spoiling too much of a surprise, when you go request access to that replay of the workshop, one of the rewards or one of the goodies you get for watching that is something that's going to help you to get unstuck, something that Kim put together for us that is just a wealth of goodness. It's so good. So if you're feeling stuck at any point in this process with an ebook or something else, you definitely want to get your hands on that freebie that we've put together for you at the end of the workshop. Oh, Christy says, agreed, stuck is not sexy. No, it doesn't. It is definitely not sexy. It doesn't feel good. It just feels like, yuck. So we want to help you get out of the yuck for sure. Milena asks, what is the benefits of having an ebook in business? This is another really, really great question.
Definitely a great question. And, here's the thing. If you have a business and you don't have an ebook, you are leaving so much money on the table. Even if you create an ebook to give away, think of the, increase in sales, increase in the marketing impact with less money, because that's the other part of it. If you're giving away a digital copy of your book, you actually can give it away and increase your sales and lessen your marketing budget, because the best calling card you'll ever have is that book. That's the best business card that you can have. You can tell people how to do something, teach them, the know, like, and trust factor, teach them, how you are in business, because, I'm not everybody's flavor. And this is the part that I am so okay with. If I really can't benefit you, I want you to find somebody who can. So if you get one of my ebooks and you decide that you don't really like me, then please don't stop. Please go find someone you do like, because it's important that we don't do life alone.
That is so, so true. And again, when we get all these questions about ebooks, it's so encouraging to know that people are curious about these things and they want to know how they can do it too. And again, that's the reason why the class even exists in the first place, because we both struggled so hard with getting those first ebooks out that we just said, there has to be an easier way. And so we found an amazing way to walk everyone through that in a short span of time. So I'm curious to know from the people who are here live, I would love to know, just put me in the comments if you have ever considered writing an ebook. I'd love to know.
And while they are putting that in the comments, I also want to add something else. We are prone to create addicts out of this. I just want to put that out there, because a lot of people find out the process and they find out how simple the process is, and that it's not as intimidating, one, as they thought, but it also is not it's not as hard. Like my first ebook, I've told the story repeatedly. It was traumatic for me because I did everything the hard way. And now it's so sexy on the 9th one I'm on. It is so sexy how quick and how amazing the process is. So I think that that's I think that's a really important point about this, that if you feel like you have multiple ebooks, don't worry, we've got you.
Yes, absolutely. Once you start thinking about the questions people are asking you, and you add that to what you're passionate about, what you would do even if you didn't get paid for it, all these things, we all have so many gifts and talents that it's sometimes the hardest decision is to decide what book you're going to write first.
Yes.
We want to say that in the ebook in a weekend, we actually give you a step-by-step process. So you're not wondering, well, should I do this next or this next? We're going to walk you step by step through the process. And the beautiful thing is, once you've gone through the class, you'll have a repeatable system, step by step, or a recipe, as Kim likes to call them, that you can use again and again. So if you have ideas that are just pouring out of you, when you're thinking about all the things you could write about or that you would really love to share, don't worry. Once you do one, you just take this process and you rinse and repeat it, and you can create multiple ebooks in a very short span of time. So we have lots of me's in the comments. We love, love, love to see that. For those of you who said me, we want to know what you want to write about. What kind of ebook would you like to create? Let us know in the comments.
I love it because there's such a wild variety, you know, and I could say wide, but I'm saying wild. There's a wild variety because they're so different of topics and things that we can write about and audiences we can write to. It's amazing to me to like rein myself in, really, because of all the possibilities and the opportunities that come with it.
Kim, can you let us know some of the wild opportunities or the categories that we can create ebooks for?
Oh my goodness. Some of my favorites, of course, are cookbooks, business books, how-to books, message-related books like, you know, How I Escaped Domestic Violence is actually one of my books. And, you know, my husband created some children's books because he wanted to tell stories to the grandbabies. You know, there are photo books. There are, and I'm just telling you, there are so many books that are on so many different, in so many different arenas. Yes, the Dance Mom Planner is what Christy Garcia wants to write. I don't know if you all know it or not, but she is the dance mom. She is the one to ask about anything dance related. And she's an addict, I just want to say. She has started the process and has now, like, I don't even know what number she's on because she's pushing them out because she's a go-getter. And I love that part. There's a lot of people in our world that are go-getters that need to just have the step-by-step. They just need the step-by-step and then turn them loose and look out world. And I will say that is one of them. She is definitely one of them. But if you need, and I'm really super pro tutoring. Like, I don't want to waste my time in a 12-week class. I don't want to waste my time in 6 months from now I'll have something. I want it right now. And that's a terrible, I guess that's a terrible thing to some people, but that's why I get so much done, is because I go find someone who knows what they're talking about and ask them to help me. So Samantha, I see her comment. I don't know why I can see some comments and I can't see others. Samantha says she wants to do health bites, which are cookbooks, health tips that are bites that include quick, easy, and fun tips that are delicious and bring results. I have been a follower of Samantha's for quite a while now, and I love her health bites. She makes me healthier because she teaches me ways to do things really super easy and fast. Kind of like we're teaching people how to do ebooks. She helps you with your health. And I can't wait for, you to have 100 books, Samantha, so that I can have them all.
And Milena, this is a great one too. Tips on how to audition. So for those of you who don't already know this about me, I ran a performing arts school for 17 years. So anything that has to do with dance or helping kids prepare themselves or get to that next level, I just want to put my stamp of approval on, because there need to be more of those books, because especially in that world, there's a lot that's been put on television and in social media that isn't necessarily the most positive. And I don't know that I always want my kids watching some of these things. But then enter Milena and Christy, and all of a sudden you have people who know about this industry from the inside out and are doing it in a really, really with a high level of integrity, and that I can totally get on board with. I just get so excited to see these books in this realm because it transports me back to my life before I came online.
Well, and I want to like slip a little promo in here, because here's something that's cool for everyone to know that I know, but maybe they don't know. And that is, when Christy wrote her first ebook, it actually opened up the door where now you and Christy are doing a live event in Dallas next month because the ebook opened that door. So to me, that's pretty sexy.
Absolutely. And it just goes to show you another one of the benefits about having an ebook. And no, you don't have to have a business even. If you have a story, if you have an experience, if you've overcome a challenge, if you have a passion or a hobby, any of those things are really grounds for writing an ebook. And I want to just also plug this too, that if you have kids at home and they're young kids, it doesn't matter what the age is, like Kim said before. If you have kids, I want you to sit down with them and start creating your ebooks, because the idea of creating a family heirloom that can be a legacy of yours that you can pass on to your kids and your grandkids, that's really a huge, huge, huge step that you can do in ensuring that your family is being left with these amazing stories and these amazing journeys that your family has had together. And to me, it lights me up to know that, I can sit with my kids or I can guide them in this process and they can create their own ebooks, because again, there's no age limit. It doesn't matter if you're 5 or 105 or anywhere in between. I mean, this process is something that anyone can really go through and know that on the other side, there's an ebook. And when kids go to apply for colleges, can you imagine that they get all these transcripts and letters of recommendation, and they see on the resume that your kid is a published author? I mean, to me, that's like there's no comparison to that. Like, that's a really big deal to be able to help our kids differentiate themselves in whatever field they're going into. So that's just my plug for getting your whole family included, and especially your kids, because they also have stories and experiences to share.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, Christy is saying that her and her 16-year-old son just published the boys' edition of the Dance Mom series, is what I'm going to call it now, because it's funny that it started with one idea and has blossomed into an amazing, an entire like series. And the possibilities are endless. I guess that's the thing is, we like to think that no one will listen to what we have to say, or possibly, what if someone says something ugly about it? Well, I'm going to help you with that. There's going to be somebody say something ugly about you at some point. Do it anyway. Because do you really want the one or two that are going to be negative to stop you from impacting, thousands who are positive about it? Because that's what you have to do, is you actually have to get over those things. You have to get over the fears of, being an author, the fear of publishing a book, the fear of not knowing, the fear of all of that. Let us help you with that. That's my big plea today is, let us help you get past those things, and let us help you quit procrastinating or making excuses too. I'm going to say that is, I'm a little bit harder, I think. I'm a little bit more pointed in what I say sometimes, so please don't get offended. But I do know that I made excuses for a very long time before I did it, and I think it's common. So if an excuse is what's going to keep you from it, please don't let it, because, it's actually not fair. It's very selfish. If you're more worried about how you feel than who you're going to impact, then I hate to tell you, but that's the selfish side. And unfortunately for all of us, we all have some of that. Like, we all suffer from that. So you're not alone. But don't try to hide or don't try to do it, the hard way. Lord, please don't do it the hard way like I did. I mean, that's the thing I will say, because I did do it that way. I feel like I have that. I feel like I have the right to tell you that, is because I did it the hard way and you don't have to. So there, I said it.
And in the workshop that we hosted last week too, if you're curious to find out Kim's story about how hard it was for her to create her first ebook, definitely go watch that and find out how she was able to go from that to making things a little easier. And now with ebook in a weekend, it's really the easiest way that we've discovered and the fastest way that we've discovered to help ourselves to get unstuck and really give our students a step-by-step repeatable recipe that you can use over and over again. So I want to pop this up here, that if you're curious at all about an ebook and you really think you have one inside of you, or maybe 10, I want you to head over to this website, yongpratt.com/create my ebook, because we want to help you create your ebook in the most efficient and joyful way possible. Because again, when Kim created her first book, it wasn't joyful. When I created my first book, there were parts that were joyful. I went a little bit of a different route to creating that book, but it just was really, really hard. And if we knew now, well, if we knew then what we know now, you better believe we probably would have, multiple dozens of books under both of our belts, because this is like the holy grail. I'm just going to say that. Like, this is like the easiest way to get your ebook created quickly, easily, joyfully. So at the end of the weekend, at the end of this first quarter of 2019, you can say, guess what? That lifelong dream of creating a book and being an author, I made that happen. And I made it happen in a weekend. I want you to blow other people away with your story of how you created your ebook, because it can be so much fun. There are so many benefits to doing it. And, we would love to have some more fun with you. We like to have a good time. We like to party it up. And there's a lot of really great bonuses that we've offered inside of the class as well. So definitely go check them out. And Milena says, dream, believe, achieve. Absolutely. If you have this dream of becoming an author, let's do it. We want you to believe you can do it, because you absolutely can. And if you believe it, and we can help you get there so that you believe it, you can achieve that goal. I love that. And Christy says, do it anyway. Yes, put aside all those fears, put aside all of that chatter that we all have, because at the other side of all of that fear and all of those excuses is your ebook waving to you saying, I'm ready to be shared with other people. It's a really, really great place to be.
I love it. I love that, the excitement of doing things together, the joy that comes with doing it together, the ease of doing it together. I mean, I can go on. And this is our way to, share our resources and our results. This is our way of giving back too, because once you know something that's a secret, and I feel like that's what we know, is we have this little secret. Once you know that, it's your responsibility to share with those who need it. So I'm excited about it. I know you're excited about it, Yong. And I just say join us.
Yes, absolutely. Just do it. Jump in. Let's make it happen, because the world really does need to hear the story or stories that each of you have to tell. And I just want to give a shout out to Nicole. She just hopped on. Hey, Nicole.
Hey,
so and I want to say too, if you're watching on the replay and you have more questions about ebooks or even the ebook in a weekend class, we invite you just to pop them down below. Kim and I will be back in here throughout the day, checking those, answering those, trying to give you as much as we can because we believe in you. We know it's there. We've done it the hard way. We've found this much easier way that it's going to get things done so quickly for you. And we can't wait to see you inside of eBook in a weekend. Kim, do you have any final last words for everyone?
What's holding you back? What's keeping you stuck? Don't let it get you stuck anymore. Or don't let it keep you stuck, because we need everybody. We need everybody to bring their message to the world. And I can't wait. I just can't wait to see the next, the next, I don't even know what to call it, the next layer of books that come out because of this. So
absolutely. And I do want to say that enrollment into eBook in a weekend is still open for 2 more days. We're shutting it down on Thursday night because we start eBook in a weekend on Friday. So now is the perfect time to jump in and make this happen. And I do want to share quickly, Kim, I hope this is okay that I share this. One of the bonuses we have for you when you purchase eBook in a weekend is something called Friday Night Live. So you'll get access to the class on Friday morning, first thing, and then Friday night, all of us are going to gather together where we can see each other and we can talk. And it's really a session about helping you to get unstuck wherever you're facing a challenge. Maybe there's some self-doubt happening. Friday night is the time when we're going to make massive, massive momentum and move everyone forward together so we can really, really be successful throughout the weekend. Oh, Christy, you're very, very welcome. Definitely, we would love to see you inside of eBook in a weekend. Again, the class kicks off on Friday the 29th so that you can become a published author by the end of Q1 of this year. Okay, my friends, we will chat with you all very soon and hope to see you inside of eBook in a weekend. Cheers.